This one would have been so helpful in my early 20s. If you're in your 20s and came across this video, please keep watching because this will be a reminder that you are actually doing better than you think. If you're new here, hi, I'm Romy. I make content around travel, makeup, and lifestyle. If that's your vibe, subscribe and let's get into it. Today, I'm gonna be talking about all of the things that I wish somebody told me earlier in my 20s while doing my makeup. Let's start with lesson number 1. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. Your 20s aren't the final stage. Take it as a trial and error where you experience new things, you learn more and more about yourself, and you figure out what works for you, what doesn't, what you like and what you don't. And this is all part of the journey, and this is how it is supposed to be. So whoever is telling you that you need to figure out what kind of job you want for the rest of your life, what kind of partner you want for the rest of your life, or what kind of friendships, what kind of lifestyle, what kind of person you want to be is wrong, because you do not. And I can tell you that my early 20s really shaped the person that I am today. The person you are today is going to be so different than the person you are in a year or in 5 years. So just embrace this period and learn as much as you can, and don't beat yourself up for not having everything figured out. By accepting that you don't need to have everything figured out right now, you can accept that you also don't need to be one thing. You don't need to have one hobby or one job. You can have different hobbies. You can like beauty and business. You don't have to know exactly what you want. And I figured that out along the way. I didn't know that 5 years ago. And also the things I liked 5 years ago, I have completely forgotten about today. If you told me 5 years ago that I would be filming YouTube videos and talking to the camera, I wouldn't have believed you at all. Like, my anxiety back then could never. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that embrace this period of change and don't be afraid to experiment and try many different things. Lesson number 2. Trying to fit in will drain you. A lot of us spend a lot of time trying to figure out what makes us likable or acceptable, or what will make me seem so cool in front of these people. And what I can tell you is that the more you do that, the more disconnected you will feel. You won't feel like you, and this will drain you. I remember a time in my life where I used to shrink myself to fit in and to have certain people like me. There is nothing I regret more than not being myself. So don't let people dictate who you are. Be yourself 100% of the time, and I guarantee you that the right people will stay. Lesson number 3. Boundaries are everything. You do not have to say yes to everything. You do not have to be available all the time. Again, I've been there myself, and it's just not worth it. Boundaries don't mean that you are mean or a bad friend. They just mean that you respect yourself enough to put yourself first and put your needs ahead of other people's needs. Sometimes just saying, I can't right now, is enough, and it's healthy, and we should all learn to do that more, because once you focus on yourself and putting yourself first, you will never go back. Lesson number 4. Change is actually good, and even though it can be scary when you are going through a certain change in your life, it's very important to be open to it and to embrace it, because I can tell you that some of the most positive things that happened to me in my 20s actually happened because I was open to change and I pushed myself to go out of this comfort zone. Lesson number 5, and this one is something I still struggle with to this day, and it's not to compare myself to other people. Seeing people your age getting certain jobs or traveling to certain countries or achieving certain goals that you might have had for yourself can be daunting. And even if you are happy for them, it can make you question yourself. But something I always try to remember is that everybody's timeline is different. And just because someone is achieving something a bit earlier than I am, doesn't mean that I will not achieve that in the future. One thing I try to do to help myself with this is not to compare myself to people who have a totally different reality than I do. And I just try to remember that I'm not behind and I just have a different path in a different timeline. Lesson number 6. Notice the patterns that repeat in your life. This one would have been so helpful in my early 20s because I was in a place where I noticed that certain situations kept repeating themselves, and it always felt like things were just happening to me, like I was just some sort of victim, until I realized that it's actually my own life and it's in my own hands. So I started asking myself, what am I allowing? What am I ignoring? Why am I letting these people treat me that way? Pay attention to the things that dim your spark and that kill your energy. Once you start noticing things, you can change them, and trust me, you will never go back. Lesson number 7. Things will not go as planned. Sometimes your life ends up being completely different than what you once imagined, and that is okay. This is one of the hardest things I've had to accept. Life will not go the way I want it to go. Some of the years I thought were going to be my happiest years, and this is especially true when you're in your mid to early 20s, ended up being filled with unexpected events, sadness, grief, loss, anxiety. While this is not ideal, I learned how to deal with these things and how to accept them, and to just accept that this is life. And this makes you stronger, it makes you at peace with yourself, and it makes you at peace with life. And it's kind of like a skill that I think everyone should have, because once you do, it becomes a bit easier to navigate life and to navigate your 20s, which can be a bit uncertain. Lesson number 8, you do not have to fix everyone. And I will die on this hill. You can care for people, you can support them, but you always have to remember to focus on yourself first. And when someone in your life starts showing you who they really are, you don't have to think, hey, I have to jump to their rescue, I have to change them, I have to give them advice, I have to be there for them every second of every day to try and solve this issue for them. You cannot do that. People can only change if they want to. It is not your responsibility to change them. And I learned that the very hard way. You can be kind and support other people and be there for your friends and people in your life, but you can also put yourself first and focus on yourself and accept that if people themselves do not want to change, there is nothing you can do about it. It is not your responsibility. Cannot speak while putting lip gloss. There we go. Okay, and last but not least, and I think this is the biggest one for me, stop acting like your life begins later. Like happiness is something that you chase, and it's something that will come to you once you have that perfect body, or once you lose the weight, or once you get that job, or once you reach a certain milestone in your life. It's not the case. Because if you keep waiting for that moment, you're gonna miss your life that is happening right now. Your life is already happening in small moments. Try to make the most of it and be present and not think so much about the future or about the past. Now is your time to be happy. Now is your time to be fulfilled. Now is your time to be completely present. And I know this sounds a bit cliche, but it really is our only shot at life. So you have to try and make the most of it. Your 20s are such a sacred time in your life. Enjoy it. Embrace the highs and the lows. Embrace the change. Embrace the uncertainty. As a girly who is about to turn 28 in a couple of months, I used to be so afraid of reaching the second part of my 20s or the end of my 20s. But I can tell you that the way I feel today, how grounded, how certain of myself, how confident, how at peace with myself, is something that happened because of all of the lessons that I've went through during my 20s. So if you're in your 20s and feel a bit lost or pressured, take this as a reminder that you are not behind, you are on your own path, and things will happen just the way that they need to, and you are exactly where you need to be. Alright, you guys, I think I covered everything. I hope this video resonated with you. I hope it helped you in some way. I want to hear all about the things that you learned in your 20s, so please go ahead and comment them down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!